I think the panel raised some really interesting questions. Pay for delay agreements don't just depend on a simple question of whether there was a pay for delay. The truth is that those are very complicated questions. Whether there's a payment is an interesting and difficult question. A cash payment is easy, but sometimes there are terms in a settlement agreement, and it's a real question as to whether there's anything improper about those kind of payments or consideration going to the generic, such as, for example, an acceleration clause that gives the generic nothing but early entry, which should be an acceptable form of consideration under the Supreme Court precedent. Another very difficult question, in addition to whether there's any payment, is whether there is any delay. Many of these pay for delay cases raise very difficult questions as to whether there is any delay. For example, in many cases, absent the settlement agreement, there would have been no generic entry because the generic would have lost the patent case against the brand. Can there be a pay for delay case in that situation? Some plaintiffs have argued that there can be, because you can still have a less anti-competitive settlement or a more pro-competitive settlement than the one they entered into if there is an absence of consideration flowing to the generic. But other commentators suggest that the fact that the settlement made things better than the lack of settlement and the outcome of litigation, well, that shows that the brand and the generic didn't do anything wrong. So I think the important thing here is that these cases are very complicated. They can't easily be resolved by bright line rules. They require a deep analysis, especially in the private litigation context. And thank you for having me here to talk about it.